back to Erie News Now Sunrise. It's time for this week's Family Matters segment. Now, last week we really talked about reflecting on yourself and your contribution to your relationships. And today we're talking about communication and the importance that communication holds in a relationship. To dive deep into this, I'm joined this morning by communications and relationship specialists Pamela Pressler and Melissa Slukowski. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for joining us. So I guess just starting it off, Pam, we'll start with you this morning. Communication is really key in any relationship. For folks out there that might be struggling with their relationship, what are some communication tips that you have for them?
So typically, Brissa, problems in relationships tend to start with a breakdown in communication. So learning to effectively communicate what our needs and wants are can really alleviate a lot of problems and lead to a richer, more meaningful relationship.
I would add to that, just as far as tips go, one of the things that we often suggest, we call it the 3 C's of communication, and one being be curious in your relationship rather than making assumptions or predictions. That's where a lot of communication breaks down. We sort of assume that we know how it's going to go, and therefore we either avoid it or we try to overmanage it. The other one would be just to seek clarity rather than, again, thinking that you're understanding what that person is needing or trying to communicate, really being curious and seeking that clarity, as well as committing the time to close that conversation. Many times people do not close that conversation, and there's these live wires laying out there that aren't feeling good to anyone. So those are the 3 C's that we talk about that might be helpful.
The three C's, that's a good reminder. So when it comes to communicating, is this something that you would recommend maybe setting out a time each week for folks to discuss, maybe have open communication time? Is that a good idea or?
Yeah, that's a great idea, Brissa, because really what we find is the most proactive communication is the most effective communication. So a lot of times people kind of, get into a situation and haven't had a conversation around their expectations or needs. And so they're kind of finding they're doing cleanup on the tail end and trying to, they're acting reactively in a situation rather than having spoken about it previously so they know what to expect. That goes for interactions between couples, parenting, even in work environments. So yes, the more proactive, the better.
And it doesn't even have to be a marriage. This could be just still in the dating phase, correct?
Absolutely. Any phase of a relationship, even more importantly in the beginning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Creating a strong foundation. All right. Pamela Pressler and Melissa Slukowski, you guys, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be right back.